is I&O. Hey, Confice! Glad to see you here. Alright. We have got I&O with Wayland Consortium, Builder of Nations, Yankee Flatline with Kate Cat McCaffrey. How is it going to go down? Is I&O going to claw their way back into this tournament? Ocelot, good to see you in the chat. Eno. So it's Eno 209. Eno 209. Alright. Eno 209 is going to drop 2 pieces of ice and a shipment from Kaiguya. Shipment from Kaiguya making its way into both of the games tonight. Over on Yankee Flatline side, opts for a Deuces Wild, gains 3 from Deuces Wild, draws 2 cards, drops a self-modifying code, and 2 sacrificial constructs, passes up on the ability to install either the Akamatsu Mim chip or the clone chip for free. Over on their opponent's side of the turn, since they did have 7 credits, they will, 6 credits, they will be installing a Magnum Opus. Eno 209 draws into a hostile takeover and goes ahead and scores that thing. Back on Yankee's side, they're drawing 2 cards, draw into a self-mod and a levy, and they opt to use Magnum and install an Akamatsu Mim chip. Makes sense. They've got a lot of heavy MU programs in their hand and in their heap, and installed. Back in Eno's side of the board, another mass commercialization, another card we saw last game. And I believe this is an Orion here on R&D, and it's going to get advanced twice. How will Yankee Flatline capitalize on the recent bad pub? They decide to draw twice on their turn and use Magnum Opus and probably install the clone chip. Yep, there it is. Eno draws into a sure gamble. I think mass commercialization has hit the point where it is worth playing. They opt to install, advance a new piece of ice. I think this is a Colossus. And get a mass commercialization for 8. Not too shabby. Yankee magnums 3 times and installs another Mim chip. Likely gonna be trying to pull off some Shaper large MU shenanigans. Eno is drawing twice, has drawn into a high-risk investment and a preemptive action. Instead of trying to build a remote, opts to protect their centrals a little bit more. Yankee drawn some cards, has drawn into a Parasite, still has 2 sure gambles unplayed, drops a same old thing. Alright. Eno draws into a hedge fund for their mandatory draw. Optionally draws an asteroid belt, which does go into a new remote. Now they've got a way to try to score the high-risk investment. Yankee drawn more cards, building up a powerful economic engine, especially now that Magnum Opus and Bull Moose are on the table. Bull Moose doesn't have very many targets at the moment, just a Deuces Wild and a self-modifying code. Likely with the levy, gonna want to keep the Deuces Wild in there as well. Eno draws into a hostile takeover and opts to advance the asteroid belt, the barrier from the Constellation Suite. Yankee does decide to remove Deuces Wild from the game. Draws into a Cipher. Ooh, what a beast of a card.
Okay, you gonna tell me? Come with me.
Eno put on the hot seat because of Cipher. Let's see, what is the best way to try to protect...
Okay, ready? 5,
any large agendas that have to get put into server 1.
2,
Gonna need at least a couple pieces of ice. They do have a biotic labor, which could be incredibly relevant. They opt to install a new piece of ice, play a hedge fund, and use preemptive action. Makes a lot of sense. They are, to a greater or lesser extent, set up to try to score out of server 1. They will be rezzing the asteroid belt for free. Right now, Yankee is running on HQ, putting the high-risk investment at risk. And Eno 209 rezzes a Veritas. Let's see how Yankee responds. Possibly gonna crack the self-modifying code for a killer, likely the new Shaper killer that in many ways functions like a mimic. There it is. Na-noct. Na-noct. Alright, breaking Veritas for 3 credits plus the install on the Na-noct. Continuing the run, Eno 209 rezzes a Hortum. Yankee's going to have to install the self-modifying code again if they want to break it, and they do. Nanotech. That makes more sense. Nanotech. Yep, that makes more sense. Decides to use Cipher and a Parasite to crush the Hortum. Eno 209 is going to get a trigger off of Wayland Consortium Builder of Nations. Going to do one of meat damage. And looks like they lose a Parasite. I think he loses a Parasite. And accesses the hostile takeover. Over on Eno's side of the board, they've got 3 clicks. They've got a high-risk investment in hand. Are they going to go for the score here? Doesn't look like Yankee will be able to destroy any ice. Yes, they're going for it. Bold move from Eno 209. Certainly has the potential to get them back in this game and back in this tournament. Let's see if it pays off for him. Bull Moose is removing a sure gamble from the game. Interesting. Yankee is using Blue Moose to take out whatever they can. Goes ahead and plays a Diesel, draws into another Nanotech, a self-modifying code, and a Beth Kilrain Chang. They drop the self-modifying code and are likely going to run on server 2 now. They are running on server 2. And Eno 209 rezzes a Hortum. Yankee goes and grabs a Gordian Blade and will not have enough to break, I do not think. So Eno is going to get at least a credit out of this. Nope, they use Cipher, so they're going to break completely. It looks like Eno is safe for now because Asteroid Belt is going to res for free. Both players nearly broke. Yankee broke Eno at 1 credit, but they've bought themselves a little bit more time to try to score out this high-risk investment. If that gets scored, it will have an incredible effect on this game. Will put a lot of pressure on Yankee to keep their credits low, giving more advantage to Eno. And if Yankee decides to go up to, say, 10 or so credits, Eno draws into a mass commercialization, is likely going to play it now and advance. Well, may not advance. Is likely to play the mass commercialization and then we'll see how they respond from there. Could possibly score it out with the Biotic. They opt to play the mass commercialization, go up to 12 credits. I think Eno could have scored it with the Biotic here. I think they could have mass commercialization, gone up to 12 credits, had 2 clicks, played the Biotic, gone down to 4 credits, had 3 clicks, and advanced 3 times on server 2. Yankee seems to have given up on server 2 though, so Eno is going to keep the... Mr. Crowbird, thank you so much. That's such a nice thing to say, and we are excited to have you on Thursday. And also on Thursday, we are going to have another Cash Refresh game starting at 7:30, an hour before Netmerker's usual time of 8:30. We're going to have more. Hopefully, we're going to have more Cash Refresh. All right, back into this game. Eno has got the high-risk investments scored. Cannot say how much I love seeing this card scored. Cash Refresh really doing a lot for Netrunner, raking up really common agenda suites. You have to reach if you want to get global food now. Alright, Yankee is building a server, has got the all-essential clone chip, which is going to do huge damage with the Parasite and the Cipher. Yankee only at 1 point though. Alright. Eno draws into a scarcity of resource, a little bit past the time you want to see that now. They also draw into a wormhole, potentially a very relevant piece of ice. And they also draw into a government takeover. What a liability that is. So now they've got 2 huge agendas in hand. A high-risk investment, and a government takeover. They do have the Biotic, which could ease scoring the high-risk. They can install Advance, rather than having to install Advance. Likely not going to try to score the government takeover. But they are going to have to keep it away from Yankee Flatline. Back over to Yankee Flatline. Beth killed Rang Chang, bringing in $1. And Yankee is running on HQ. Gonna get in for 3 credits. 2 real credits because they have a bad pub. They decide to let the Veritas fire the Trace 2, give the runner a tag. Interesting choice here. I'm not sure if I would have done that. Simply because paying 1 to... And that's it, there's the game. Government takeover. Government takeover. Tough break for Eno 209. Really gave it their all. And congratulations to Yankee Flatline. Gonna move on to this tournament. Further into this tournament. Government takeover, a very risky card. Well, that is it for tonight. Thank you guys so much. Thank everybody in the chat. Color Mage, Conphase, Ocelot, and Mr. Crowbird. And thanks again to our players, Yankee Flatline and Eno 209 for letting us stream their games. Again, this Thursday, 7:30, we hope to bring you another round of Cash Refresh games. And then later that night at 8:30 Pacific time, we will have Netmerker as regularly scheduled. Everybody have a good night, and bye-bye.